You can be.
Okay. Divorce is couples' number one fear when they get married. Divorce not only affects the couple that gets divorced, but it has a bigger effect on the kids if they have any. So I'm going to inform you on the effect that it has on kids. Obviously, people hope that divorce never happens, but it does, and knowing the effects it has on kids can help you understand on what more people go through. And there are lots of divorces today, and even if you don't have to deal with a divorce or you don't get divorced, you should still know about how it affects kids. I know a little bit about how divorce affects kids because my parents have been divorced since I was 13 years old, and I've had a lot of effects from it. In the next few minutes, I will tell you about how divorce affects kids physically, emotionally, and academically. So first off, divorce affects kids negatively in a physical way. Betty Ackerman's document stated that divorce gives a high risk of kids being physically hit or injured by their parents. And the Literature Quarterly stated that the emergency room usage is higher for kids with divorced parents. There are also more learning and attention disabilities with kids who have divorced parents, regardless of their parents' education, financial status, or area of residence. Single-parent homes have 2 times the risk of the kids being physically hurt, abused, or neglected, stated the Literature Quarterly. Now, since I've discussed how it affects kids physically, I will discuss how they get affected emotionally. Teens obviously want to have more freedom when they're in their teen years, and they are going to start exploring their sexuality. And with that, they're going to need parental guidance. And so if they don't have that, then they don't really have anywhere to go from there. And they also, when they start getting in relationships and stuff, they try and think about not wanting to split up and not wanting to happen to, if they get married, to what happened to their parents' relationships. Kids often take divorce personally and try and think that it's their fault that their parents got divorced, when often that isn't the case. The Divorce magazine stated that if kids question if the divorce is their fault, and they worry about their self-worth, and they worry about the other parent that might leave them. But the parents can help by saying that they are still loved and that it's not their fault, and they can explain why they actually got divorced so that kids know that it wasn't on them. And American Sociological Review stated that most kids have no problems with any emotional things when they're married, but they do start developing when the parents get divorced. They lose emotional security, and they have weakened relationships with their parents and other family members. And they also tend to spend less time with their parents because their moms have to start working more after they get divorced so they can make enough money for the family, and the fathers spend less time with their kids. Now that I've talked about how divorce affects kids emotionally, I will tell you about how they get affected academically. They struggle with school and studying. The Stampede newspaper says that the dropout rate during high school is 2 times higher with kids with divorced parents than it is when their parents are married. They also get distracted just thinking about why their parents got divorced and how ashamed they are of it. Psychologists say that divorce negatively affects their academic performance and their motivation to do stuff as well. The Stampede stated that there is a correlation between divorce and academic performance. It also stated that Monte Vista Junior and Senior say that the opposite is true as well. They say that they have little to no effect on their schoolwork, and they do have divorced parents. So it does depend on the circumstance and their position in the divorce and the parenting. And I know that too because I'm not as academically affected by having divorced parents, so it does depend on who it is. Betty Ackerman also stated that the risk of dropping out is greater with divorced parents, and 60% of divorced children fail to match the educational achievements that their fathers did. They have difficulty with education and social skills after parents get divorced. And Divorce Magazine stated that due to two homes, new neighborhoods, losing friends and family, and low income, it's harder on them academically and just all around. So now that I've informed you about how divorce affects kids physically, emotionally, and academically, I hope you know a little bit more about how kids are affected. And obviously, nobody hopes that divorce happens, but it does happen and it's a big problem in the world. So knowing how it affects people, you can know how more people feel and maybe know what people are dealing with a little bit more. And as stated in the intro, you hope that it will never happen, but it is a possibility. Thank you.